Yo, what up? This is DJ Newmark, a.k.a.
Uncle New.
From Jurassic 5, and you're checking out The Library with my main man, Tim Onicle, on www.rapstation.com.
Dear one and only, when struggling...
Welcome to At the Library with Tim Onicle. I'm here with Devon Glover from the Sonnet Man project.
When in disgrace with fortune and men's eyes, I all alone be weak, my outcast state, and trouble death heaven with my...
Devon, welcome to And You Don't Stop Radio.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, my man. Thanks for having me.
All right, so for the people that don't know, what is the Sonnet Man project?
It was created by the producer Arje Shaw. He had this idea of mixing Shakespeare with music for about 15 to 20 years. He's been shopping the idea around, and by fate, he met one of my friends at a seminar. At the time, I was working with vocabulary, that's teaching students through hip hop, and my friend let Arje know about my situation, and she set up the meeting. He said he just wanted to make. When we met the first time we met, he said he wants to make something catchy and something educational to music, and I believe I can make. I did tell him I believe I can make any beat, anything sound good to a beat, musically, and from there we worked on. He wanted to bring Shakespeare to the schools, and why not start with sonnets? They're the smallest piece of work that he has. Only 14 lines. Students can learn that easier than rather than trying to break down a novel or a play. So we was on the studio for all of 2010, just perfecting the first CD and learning about Shakespeare. I walk around with the 900-page book, just talking about Shakespeare's life and his.
So what was the toughest part of making a full song out of 14 lines?
The hardest part, I think the more material you have, the more you have to work with, to write with. With 14 lines, you really gotta, I believe, read between the lines, and and you got. I think you have to be more in depth with that, because each line is more powerful.
And you seem to do that in the track Sonnet 18. You the first verse is Shakespeare, the second verse is you, and the third verse is kind of it sounds like kind of a call and response between you and Shakespeare.
Shall I compare thee? Shall I compare thee? Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a day. Sometime too hot.
My first breakdown was more of like a paragraph, more like a spark note.
Right.
And the third verse is more like, this is more detailed. This is like, the lines that I thought the lines that I thought were important. I put them line for line and show how we could break down each line for line. Just more in-depth breakdown.
Shine bright like the third eye in the sky. Sometimes too hot, the eye of heaven shines. We could form a bond so hot, you and I. Sometimes too hot.
Now, do you do that type of? Is that basically how you construct all the sonnets that you've done, or are they, depending on the sonnet, is it different? Do you take a different approach?
Yeah, it's all about approach. See, I work with my producer Daniel Linus and Arje, and also my vocalist who connected me and Arje, Melissa Mark. We sit in the studio, and in terms of order and melody, it's a collective idea with how we do it. Sonnet 18 just happened to be my idea, where I just thought it would be a nice way to, mix it in, because we used the DJs. We had a DJ scratch this in, and we wanted to make it more hip hop. So, that was the feel. So that was the first sonnet that we recorded, and we wanted to make want to do a call and response is actually with a DJ. But then there are other songs where we use different type of literary terms. Like for instance, I have a song about my mistress.
My mistress, eyes are nothing like the sun. Coral is far more red than her lips red. If snow be white, why then her breasts are done? If hairs be wires, black wires grow on her head. I have seen roses damaged red and white, with no such roses see I in her cheeks and in some perfume.
Right.
So after we did the Shakespeare verse, the first verse was Shakespeare's verse. The second verse was my spark notes, my breakdown. And the third verse, I broke it down again, but I did it in a fun way, where I used alliteration. I put mistress. I used a lot of words that began with MIS. Mm-hmm. Just to have fun with words, just to show children, a different way you can interpret Shakespeare.
When someone comes to the Sonnet Man performance, what will the audience experience? What will they hear? What will they see?
Well, for a Sonnet Man performance, you get a look. First and foremost is educational, because you're gonna learn Shakespeare, and then you get a couple personal songs, just about my story, Devon Glover's story, and just how it intertwines with Shakespeare. How
what's your favorite sonnet? What's your favorite sonnet that you have done so far?
My favorite sonnet is 113. The old poets back in the day, they used to have disses for each other. So I can't think of the poet's name right now, but he has a poem about how beautiful and how perfect his mistress is, or how beautiful and perfect his wife is, and how he can't live without it because she doesn't have a flaw. So Shakespeare's 130 is a parody, basically dissing this poet. He's mentioning all, in 130, Shakespeare's mentioning all the flaws about his mistress, but he said he still loves her. Even it's the flaws that make her perfect, basically what he's trying to say. It was fascinating because in the 1600s, they were dissing each other through poetry writing.
Right, it's like a kind of a weird battle rap, but on paper.
It was a battle rap. The first thing I thought when I read it was, were they putting these in a bottle and just sending it on the sea, like send this to him, send this to Alexander.
Shakespeare's like, what? You're battling me?
Get a response in like 6 months. Like, all right, I got it. Send one back. Get a response back in like half a year.
Devon Glover, thanks for joining us on And You Don't Stop Radio. How can people get in touch with you? How can people get more information about you or the Sonnet Man project?
For more information on Devon Glover, the Sonnet Man, you can check the website, thesonnetmannyc.com. You can check my personal website, devonthedon.com. That's DEVONTHEDON.com. Or you can email me at doyouknowdevon@gmail.com.
I cannot be me without her. I feel sick without her. I can't live without my hopes. Think about her. Can I speak about her? I can't be without her. I can't breathe without her. I'm not myself. I cannot be me without her. I feel sick without her. I can't live without my mistress. Eyes are nothing like the sun. I can't be without her. I can't breathe without her. Coral is far more red than her lips red. I feel sick without her. I can't live without my mistress. Me, I am her mister, and she is my missus. When she's gone, I miss her. Make no mistakes with her. There is no mistrust or miscues with us. You can't misplace this love, Miss Love. I am on a mission to give her what she's missing. No misprint. Listen, I've gone the distance with my mistress thus far, and that's cause she's never misused my heart. My mistress, we might be a mismatch, but when together together with her, there are no mishaps. A couple misfits passed and thought she was misfortune. Fitting that I picked my fortune while they missed on it. In the foreign eyes, she seems disorganized. See, the public is quick to misjudge, and I get emotional when I talk about my missy. I'm not tearing, I just get a little misty. Always think about her, can I speak about her? I can't be without her, I can't breathe without her. I'm not myself, I cannot be me without her. I feel sick without her, I can't live without my M-I-S-T-R-E-S-S. Clear my S-T-R-E-S-S. M-I-N love Y-E-S. M-I-N love Y-E-S.
You are tuned into the library with Tim Einico, rapstation.com.
There's no need to fear. There's nothing better in life than my son's smile.
What's up, y'all? This is Tim Einico. Welcome to And You Don't Stop with Chuck D. This is my segment, The Library. Today I go outside the library and interview Illus, who has a new album out called Family First. Why call your album Family First?
I started Family First as we were wrapping up the last album, For Adam, and my wife and I were just planning our family, and when we got pregnant, you had to kind of come to terms with that, like from now on, it's no longer about me, it's about us, and I really wanted to capture that time period of the pregnancy through birth and a series of songs, and it just kind of happened naturally. It just made sense. Once you realize you're having a baby, everything kind of focuses on that, and as well as the music. So,
anyone that follows you on Twitter, on Facebook, even this album, your son is one of the most important thing to you. So, just as an artist, how has your writing, how has it changed since the birth of your son? I mean, is your lyrical content different, or do you really have to look out for what you say, stuff like that?
Technically, I don't think there's anything different that I'm doing now, except now I have to kind of maximize my time better since I get very little free time to write and record. In regards to inspiration, there's always something new and wonderful to be inspired about as a father and as a husband, and anyone who's has a family knows that there's an endless amount of topics. People make careers on talking about their family, whether it's Bill Cosby or comedians or whoever. It really makes you just look at the world differently than when you're just some rapper trying to battle other rappers and rap about other rappers and so forth and so on. So, and surprisingly, I don't necessarily feel like I've had to tone anything down or change anything. I feel like I've been going in this direction for a while in regards to the lyrical content, not cursing a lot and, finding the right places. And if I do curse, and actually, funny enough, this album has the most curses out of the last two albums, 3 albums. Yeah, so I think Feel Good Music and For Adam each had 1. I think there's like 3 curses on it. And one of them or a couple of them are not even from me. It's from some of the guests, which is fine. I didn't want to have anyone have to stifle anyone else's creativity. But yeah, so I don't really worry about the content too much when it comes to this. It's just I try to speak truthfully and passionately about what I do, and hopefully that comes through in the music. And
I want to go into, you like you mentioned, you have a slew of guests. You have Johnny Juice, Ill Bill, Blueprint, J Live. All these people. When you do an album like this, do you you pick and choose who you would love to have on the album? Do you present to them? Kind of like a weird PowerPoint presentation of what the concept of the album is, and then hope they kind of write around it, and then also if they do write something and you don't necessarily like where they're going with it, do you have discussions? I'm not censor them totally, but do you ask them to rewrite? I mean, how does that process work?
Luckily, the people that I collaborate with, it's always people that I know through some other avenue or I've connected with, through the industry or through artwork or something outside of just, contacting them and saying, hey, would you be on my album? And then they're like, who are you? So I always work with people that, for the most part, I always work with people that I have a personal relationship with or know through, other friends or some connections. And so when I approached most of these artists, I say most because one of the artists is a newer artist, Chuuwee, and I connected with him through somebody else, and it was basically my first time, working with him, and it was a great experience. He's an amazingly talented young guy, and someone everyone should definitely watch out for.
I feel the girth on my shoulder blades, post-revolutionary thinking there'll be colder days and how we can expose the fake. Wish I could remote the face of Congress or abolish government, cause they control the states and make us dig our own graves. Then they take our homes away. Looking someone older face, smile and tell them fit for themselves, go make 401k. We keep pushing, but we running out of rollerblades. I keep kicking for freedom now before it's gone today.
But everyone else, I've kind of had some, working experience with. And I've never had to ask any other artist to rewrite anything. They're all professionals. Most of them are way more established than I am. So I would never feel comfortable saying, hey, can you rewrite that? I do, once, they decide that, we're going to work together, I do present a theme and an idea and, the concept, and then I just have them go, run with it. So it's all up to them as far as where they take it.
And you mentioned themes, and you had kind of with For Adam, the album prior to this one, and this album you have a theme to it. Does that as an artist help you? Does that a little more help for you to have an album that actually has a theme? Or, is there a reason behind themes? Because some albums just don't have any theme. They're just like, one track here, one track there. Here's a hit single, stuff like that. Does that just help you to write as an artist?
Definitely. Well, sometimes once you set a theme, it's hard. You may get inspired to do something completely different, and then you're like, well, this doesn't fit. I have to kind of stick to the theme. So I don't know about easier or whether one's more difficult than the other, but basically, I come from a time period when albums had themes.
Right.
That's just the way I like to craft, my work, whether it was, Fear of a Black Planet or BDP's Ghetto Music Blueprint album, De La Soul's 3 Feet High and Rosin. These were albums that, they were very thematic, and all the songs, had something to do with each other, and they had a similar vibe. And a lot of the albums, back then, they were produced by one person, and, so you had that consistent vibe. And I just really love albums that collect a period in time in an artist's life, songs that relate and flow together, that capture a period in time, that others generations later can experience and connect with. So when I decide to do, if I'm going to put all this effort into making an album, which to me is a collection of songs, I want it to mean something and not just be like, 16 tracks of just random rapping.
Right.
Because that bores me as a fan and as a listener. So I try to not do that.
I want to go into one of the people that you helped co-produce the mix of DJ Johnny Juice.
Yo, what's up? This is DJ Johnny Juice. Johnny Juice. Chilling right now with my boy. Illus.
And once again, as you were creating this album, I was following you on Twitter, and I highly remember when I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning, very extremely positive, just a positive, vibe view of Johnny Juice, and saying that, he pushes. He's a producer like no other. He pushes you. He pushes your limits, but he pushes you to the limit, not in necessarily a bad way.
Right.
So, if you can, can you discuss what it's like working with Juice, and kind of how is he different from other producers?
Well, Juice is a legend, and he's worked literally with the best in the business. Public Enemy, Slick Rick, Beastie Boys, Leaders of the New School, Son of Berserk. I mean, these are on a whole other level. These are the top tier, artists. And he's seen and heard it all and knows everything there is to know. And he's not someone that you can bullshit. So you have to come prepared and be professional and be ready to work hard. And because Juice will tell you straight up when you're whack. He'll tell you something isn't working, and he'll just make you work until you get it right. And I love that personally because when you, as an artist, you write your song and you come up with all these ideas in your head, and then you get to the studio and you're working with the producer and the engineer, and you basically created an idea in a bubble in your own head, which you think is amazing. And then you get there and you record, and your average producer may not care or may not be concerned with bringing out your best, and they may not say anything. Maybe not that they're being dishonest or not genuine, but they may just think it's okay to let you do what you do, and so forth and so on. Whereas Juice is very opinionated because he's been around so long, and he's, like I said, he's seen and done it all. So he'll tell you how he feels, and that'll for some artists that may frustrate them, or they may get down about that. But for me, it pushes me to be better, and that's why I like working with other people. Otherwise, I would just produce my own songs and sit in my own studio and release music and not care what anyone else thinks.
Right.
But I like working with other people because they do inspire and push you to be a better artist.
Honey, I got rhythms I haven't used yet.
Speaking with Illus' new album is called Family First. The first time I heard your stuff was from your last album, For Adam, and I think what blew me away was what you did at the end of the track, Red Dawn. And as you pointed out to me earlier in the email, you originally did this at the end of Old Friends on Feel Good Music. And what you did was you did a cappella.
Right.
So I want to go into, in this new album, for Family First, Eyes of a Child. You did it again. You did a cappella. So I want to know why do you have this theme of a cappella?
Something I started on Feel Good Music, and as you mentioned, I wanted to keep it going. Those were basically verses that I loved that just didn't make it into song format. So actually on For Adam, Red Dawn was actually one of the three verses for the original song that was Born Criminal. I had written Born Criminal years ago. Those verses were very old. And when I actually got the beat for Born Criminal, I rewrote it completely, and it's a completely different song. But I wanted to use that verse in particular. And I started doing it because I felt like it gives the listener like a rest in between songs. So originally on Feel Good Music, the first a cappella comes right after Old Friends, and there's a series of songs. I believe that's also the third or fourth song on the album. So I kind of just wanted to give the listener a rest, kind of slows things down for a moment, and allow some breathing room, during the listening journey. I don't really like skits on albums. There are a few artists that could really do skits really well. Soul, Master Ace, and to me, those are really the only two that I enjoy. Anyone else skits, irritate me. So this is my way of kind of like doing the skit, slowing the album down, giving some breathing room for the listener, without actually doing the skit, and kind of just sharing thoughts and ideas, through these lyrics. And like you said, like for me, I got into hip hop because I love the lyrics. So that's the most important part to me. Beats are great, production, but I enjoy writing lyrics, and these are verses that I thought fit within the context and theme of the album, and I just wanted to share them.
Time slips and we regret time past. When we dig graves, crying, remembering we used to laugh. The legacy of grandparents and stories told. Thinking we never get old. Now we got our own grandkids to hold.
I want to go into another track, track number 9 on the album. It's Extraordinary featuring Blueprint.
Maybe I'm hating, but the fame don't really mean a thing. Gotta confess, I'm more impressed by the little things.
Could you just talk about how this track came about? Like, what's the story behind it?
Sure. I met Blueprint years ago through my friend and fellow musician Paul Gatte. I was working as Paul's manager, actually, at the time, and Print was in town. They had toured together, Paul and Blueprint, and Blueprint was in town with Atmosphere touring, and I introduced myself because we had never actually met in person, so we connected that way at first, and we stayed in touch, talked about doing some art, and I'd wanted to do some album art for him, and we shared emails back and forth. When we finally decided we were going to do a song together, and that he was actually going to, produce the beat, and the beat was right, I had to come up with a theme. And when you work with an artist like Blueprint, you can't waste your time just doing your typical rap song, rapping about yourself, or, attacking other rappers. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do something meaningful that could be played and enjoyed by any age group during any point in time. And so who's never fantasized about being a superhero? So that was like the first idea was like, all right, I want to do something, that everyone can kind of connect with and relate to. And the idea actually really clicked after reading one of Blueprint's blogs about how he helped this girl who got off the wrong bus and was lost. And at first he was really hesitant. He saw this person approaching him, and she asked if she could use his phone. We're all kind of like preconditioned nowadays to not trust strangers and to be suspicious of people, but he actually went out of his way. He let her use the phone. She got in touch with her mother, who, he had to wait with this girl while, the mother came to pick her up because she was lost. Took some time to do that. And he found out the girl was actually younger than he even thought. I forget what her age was. But it was a really powerful, blog entry, and it made me think about what regular people can do to help each other and make the world a better place, and how we don't need superpowers to be heroes or just be good people. So his blog and his writing and his experience really inspired the song, on top of him producing the album. So really, like, he inspired the theme, and I just kind of steered it in that direction, and he went to town with it. I love that track.
Speaking of which, do you have a favorite song on the album?
I don't. It's hard for me to say, give a favorite. I enjoy them all. They're all very different songs, all different, very, very different experiences. If I had to pick one, I guess I would say The Gift, because I watched Juice craft that right before my eyes, and it includes audio of my son's actual birth. So
that was your son. That was your son's actual birth.
It was. I had the recorder right there, while my wife was giving birth. And
wait, that was your wife?
Yeah,
she was the.
I was the nurse. The nurse says, baby boy born, and that's her talking. My wife talking to my son as he's shivering like a little.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Squirrel. So, and actually, throughout the song, Juice took that audio from the birth, and he cut it up, and that's my son laughing and giggling and cooing throughout the song. So that's actually, he co-produced the song.
What's the future of Illus, and how can the audience cop the album?
The album will be on iTunes and everywhere digital music is sold on May 29th, Amazon and wherever else sells music. And physical CDs will be available in select locations. They can subscribe to my website, adamwalenta.com, EDAMWALLENTA, and they'll find links to where they can get the limited edition autographed CDs. As for the future, I'm just really working hard on promoting this project. We've got basically 1 to 2 videos that we're trying to release every week for the next 2 months. And getting all that done, and then we'll see if people want more from me. So I don't have specific plan. I have lots of ideas in my head for albums and ideas. We'll see where that goes and if there's demand for it. But for now, I just want to focus on family first and spread the word that it's out there.
Cool.
And I appreciate you helping out doing that. of your listeners.
The name of the album is Family First. The artist is Illus. Illus, thank you so much for joining us on The Library with Tim Heineke and You Don't Stop with Chuck D.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Welcome to the world, little man, take daddy's hand. I'm here for you to help you understand. You're a gift of life, wide eyes so bright, the light that shines like a star, conceived in love. Believe you are a new branch on a tree so tall, roots so deep we can never ever fall. Together stand strong, you need me, call. I'll be right there, you don't have to fear. Your mom and me together, we're right here. Never question the love we have for you. Never underestimate what we would do to protect you. Trust that we would never neglect you or let you get lost. No matter the cost, we'll provide for you. Sacrifice my life and die for you. Guide you through the love and the pain. Provide shelter through the cold and the rain. Inspire you to be all you can be. To reach for the stars and teach you to think with love in your heart and an open mind. To be free to follow your destiny in time and grow from a boy to a man. Still it never be too far to hold your hand. Stand by your side through thick or thin. Family first to the very end. Stand by your side through thick or thin. Family first to the very end. 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 Family first to the very end.
I love you.